This is how I built a kid's mini boat. I started off with a plastic hull that I bought from a hardware store here in New Zealand called Mitre 10. Link to the hull is in the description below. It's roughly 1.3 metres long and 0.75 wide. Also, a kid's paddle boat without the paddles would work just as well. I found a used Power Wheels car that was broken for $50 and chopped it up. I was lucky that the dash fitted in the hull pretty nicely. I used a Dremel tool to cut the dash, but I found that if I cut it too quickly, it started to melt the dash, so I just had to take my time. I worked out where I wanted the seats, although later on I'd lower the seats as I found that it was too unstable with the seats mounted so high up. I bought some 12mm ply for the floor. I used the bottom of the hull to trace it out and I cut it out with a jigsaw. The plywood floor would allow me to screw things to it like the dash, the seat, the motors. Using some cardboard, I mocked up the front of the nose. I then traced it onto some plywood and cut it out. I'd then screw some holes and put some bolts through to secure it to the hull. I then started to mock up the floor platform out of some plywood and some L brackets, which I screwed together. I used some hinges on the front of the seat so it could be lifted up to access where the motors would be mounted. I then started on the trailer using some 12mm plywood and some paint rollers. This worked out pretty well and the boat slides off the trailer nicely. The axle was 12mm threaded rod and the wheels were from the Power Wheels car that I cut up. I worked out where I wanted the drawbar and cut it out and bolted that to the deck. I used one of the motors from the Power Wheels car as an electric winch and bolted that to the drawbar. I bought some Anderson connectors to power it using the Power Wheels power supply. We then took the trailer out for a test drive to see how it handled the bumps. I bought some 90-degree aluminium bar to use as guides for the boat trailer so that the boat would centre nicely on the trailer. We then built a spool for the winch and painted it up black and added some rope to the winch. I bought a black jiffy box from a place called J Cars here in New Zealand, along with a rocker switch that was double pole, double throw to use to control the winch. I also added a toggle switch as a master switch, along with an inline fuse for safety. For the motors, I used Brush DC 775 motors that I bought off AliExpress along with the prop shafts and brackets. I'll put a link in the description of whereabouts I got them. To power it, I'm using an 18-volt lithium Ryobi battery. You could probably use the 12-volt sealed lead-acid battery from the Power Wheels car, but the 18 volts just gives it a bit more power. We tested the boat in the spa to see how much power it had and to make sure the props were spinning the right way. We've thought about using the twin props to steer the boat, although I don't think this would have worked so well. So we decided to use twin rudders. To achieve this, we used mountain bike cables attached to the steering column. The cables are tucked in around the side of the boat so you can't see them, and they're attached to the back of the boat using some door hinges and some aluminium bar. They're both connected together in the middle so that they can turn at the same speed in the same direction. We tested the boat using a fishing rod in case it broke down. Feel free to ask any questions about the boat build and I'll put the links in the description of where I bought everything from. Thanks for watching and check out our YouTube channel for more videos of the mini boat and other projects that we've built. Cheers.